Hi everyone, and welcome back to Dee's World, where we talk about teaching strategies and teaching opportunities out there with a little bit of travel. So in today's video, I don't want us to talk about the classroom. No, I want to share my experience as a teacher living in Astana, Kazakhstan. Fun fact, Astana is like one of the coldest. I think it ranks number 2 as the coldest city in the world. That's a story for another day. But today I wanted to talk about some questions I am frequently asked every time I meet someone as a Kenyan living here. So I thought to wear my Kazakh jewelry just to make this a little bit exciting. And anyway, when I'm talking about my jewelry, I just thought to pimp myself up as I talk about my experience living in Astana. So I'm just gonna mention some questions I get asked a lot. So the first question I always get is, why Kazakhstan? It's so far from Kenya, from Africa to Kazakhstan. Why Kazakhstan? And I would say, I don't know. I didn't choose Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan chose me because I just needed a job. I went online and I applied that to many schools directly, and here I am in Kazakhstan with a job as a teacher, and I love it. I've been here 2 years. This is my 3rd year now. I just began my 3rd year and I am loving it here. So I think Kazakhstan chose me for a reason. So that's usually my response. It chose me. I applied. I really wanted to go to the UAE to teach there, but this place chose me and I responded and I came, not knowing anything or anyone about this place, and here I am 2 years later. I think I love it here. The second question I get asked a lot is what of course I do here. Am I working or am I a tourist? And sometimes I say a tourist depending on who's asking. Sometimes I say I'm working, and the moment you say you're working, the next question is, are you an English teacher? Which kind of doesn't sit very well with me. I don't like that question. Anyway, they ask this because most foreigners living here either work in the oil and gas industry or they are teachers of English, because I mentioned this before, it's a country that highly speaks Kazakh and Russian. You won't meet so many people who speak English. So most foreigners come in to teach English, and the assumption is you're a foreigner, so there's a chance to teach English. So that's the next question. Are you a teacher of English? I'm like, oh no, I'm not a teacher of English, but kind of teach English, but not as a teacher of English. And then again, depending on who's asking, I might dive into details or just leave it at that. Okay, another question. Now this is asked by everyone I meet, especially when I'm in Astana. It's, what's the weather like here? And the answer is always one. Any foreigner, unless of course you're Canadian, any foreigner who's in Astana for the first time, whenever you ask that question, there's only one answer. Очень холодно. That means very cold. The winters, like I said, Astana is like the 2nd coldest city, let me confirm that, in the world. So it gets really cold in the winter. And the winters are so long. Like we have winter from what? Right now the weather started getting chilly. We're only in September. And then by the time we get into November, it's snowing. It's winter already. And that might go on until March next year. So it's a super long winter. By December, January, temperatures could drop to as low as -35, -40. I'm not kidding you, people. I'm happy to show you this when this time comes. And a lot of locals assume that it's quite an experience. And of course, it is quite an experience. But 2 years down the line, I think I can handle that. It's never that cold for me. Of course, you have to know how to dress up. And then another question is, do you like our food? If I'm to be honest, no. Sorry, Kazakhs, your food is amazing, but it just lacks something in it. I'm so sorry. I love it. I love bishbamak, I love pulov, I love shashlik, but it doesn't match up to our trauma, you know. I love the food, I like the food, but it doesn't match up to the food back home. Of course, everyone will say, oh, the food back home is better. Maybe that's just me saying that, but you have nice food. I love the food here, but it just doesn't match up to food back home. Sorry. Anyway, another question I get asked a lot is, do you have friends here? And my answer to that is usually depends. I have colleagues who've become friends, but then the thing is, these are colleagues still. I like having a work-life balance. So outside work, I have a friend or two. Yeah, in 2 years I've only managed to make a friend or two who I also don't get to see a lot as I would like to, but they are always there. Like if I have a problem in my house, I can always call one of them and be like, hey, I need you to talk to this person because I need you to explain this. And these two people like speak good English, so it makes it easy for us, you know, to interact, to hang out, to spend time out there. So yeah, my answer is usually it's really difficult to make friends here, mainly because of the language barrier. You find that unless you speak Russian, then making friends becomes a little bit tricky. Unless you meet someone who speaks English, who's not, you know, you won't meet that person every day, kind of thing. So yeah, I have friends, I have colleagues who've become friends, but outside work, then I really have like 2 friends. Okay. So can you speak? Another question I get a lot is, do you speak Russian or Kazakh? I don't speak Kazakh. I just know 2 words or 3 in Kazakh. Rahmet, which means thank you. Aspolsen, which means bon appetit. And I forgot the 3rd word. But Russian, I've been taking lessons, so yes, my level of Russian is okay. I do, like you get in a taxi and the driver is excited to meet a stranger, they will ask you questions. I do respond. Sometimes I have the words, sometimes I don't. Not because I don't understand, but of course the questions they ask you every day are the same, so you kind of learn that language, the wording of these questions. It's usually, what are you doing in Kazakhstan? Are you married? Yes, everyone wants to know if you're married. How old are you? Yes, age is not private here. You have to be willing to tell people your age. It's usually, yeah, what's the weather like? Would you like to get married to a Kazakh man? I mean, all these questions from my lessons, I can understand what they're trying to say. Sometimes I'm able to respond, sometimes no. So the question to, do you speak Russian? I always go like, chit-chit. Chit-chit means a little bit. So depending on what they ask next, I might be able to answer or not. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I won't delve into work. This is just like generally, if I meet anyone, if I walk out of my house now and I meet someone, they're gonna ask me 3 out of these 6 questions. At least 3 if they're interested in getting to know me. They ask you 3 out of these questions. Oh, the one I didn't add here is, of course, are you married? You will also get that. And how old are you? They also ask you that. Yeah, when I came here, I found those 2 questions very strange because why do you want to know my age? Where I come from? You don't tell our age, especially women. You don't ask women how old they are, but here everyone asks. It's the first question I was asked by colleagues, apparently trying to get to know me. I'm like, my age doesn't really tell you much about me, but okay, are you married? Anyway, yeah, so these are some of the questions I get asked living here. If you are curious about how life is in Astana, Kazakhstan, Astana specifically, because that's where I live, I am more than happy to answer your questions. So feel free to throw them my way. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. I just woke up thinking about this and I thought I needed to get it off my shoulder. Anyway, this is really nice doing this video. Ask any questions you would like to know about living in Astana, getting a job out here in Kazakhstan specifically, or anywhere else in the world, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, God bless. Toodles.